Hi friends, I'm Justin from Gallant IAS Academy. So when it comes to your mains answer writing, so in this video I will give you some important aspects regarding what to be avoided, what to be included in your answer writing, especially for the beginners. This video will be helpful, so please watch it till the end. Coming to what are things you have to take care when you write an answer in your GS paper, especially GS1, GS2, GS3. Take care, your answer should have a structure. Don't ever write unorganized or don't write an answer without a structure. Your answer should have a structure. Yes, a coherent flow of thought must be reflected in your answer. See, it should follow IBC pattern or structure, which is introduction, yes, introduction, body, conclusion. Okay, so develop your answer from a contextual background. See, from an introduction to body, what all these core issues must be discussed and balanced in the body part with the sufficient examples, evidences, or whatever the things, Then illustrations needed, then do that with the maps and diagrams, then come to the conclusion part. So follow a structure, introduction, body, conclusion, structure you follow. Then always mind the question directives in the attached to your questions. Okay. Sometimes they ask, discuss, comment, evaluate, or critically analyze. Okay, substantiate. So when these question directives are there, please understand the question, break down the question, and also navigation through these various arguments, counter arguments, that is according to the demand of this question, for which question directives are highly useful. Understand what the question is demanding from your side. Yes, if you are asked to analyze, a proper analysis must be done. Okay, if you are asked to substantiate, of course you must have lots of examples, evidences to substantiate your arguments. So please understand the question directives. Then it is always important to mind this word limit, 150 words or 250 words. Mind the word limit. Okay, no overcrowding, no over usage of the phrases. Okay, just be careful about what is the word limit. If you're writing too much, that doesn't make any sense. So be very careful with the word limit. Then another important is multiple perspectives or multiple part of this question must be addressed. Suppose a question is asking for, for example, Gandhara School of Art. It is a reflection of this trans-regional cultural exchanges, and Gandhara felicitated, or Gandhara helped other indigenous schools also to develop or flourish. If these things are there in a single question, two parts are there. For example, another question, Rigvedic culture, okay, or Rigveda versus LBC, RVC versus LBC, compare and contrast their socio-cultural religious features. Then they are asking second part, how these Vedic elements are reflexive in the modern society. So in that scenario, make sure that if the question is having multiple parts, each part must be addressed, each each part of these questions must be addressed equally. So take care of that aspect. Then beat around the bush, vague points and vague arguments must be avoided. See, beat around the bush, that must be avoided. Be very specific. Whatever is asked, whatever is asked. Suppose they are asking a question with regard to this, what's the style of temple architecture and their contributions to this Deccani architecture. Okay, what's the style, their contributions to this Deccani architectural development, something they asked. In that scenario, don't write an answer like this, the salient features of the temple architecture in India. If Versara is asked, your answer has to be very specific with the Versara's temple architecture. Okay, so similar way, any questions, for example, coming to this Sangam literature, how the Sangam literature portrays this South Indian society, you shouldn't write the features of South Indian society of that age. You have to refer, or you have to say how the society is reflected from the Sangam literature, Sangam literary ideas. Okay, so what I'm saying is that the beat around the bush must be avoided. Then arguments without supporting points also dangerous. Suppose any debatable issue is there, any argumentative issues are there, or anything which is given, make sure that you should have the proper supporting facts, examples, evidences, or maybe the data or a stati, that is to support your arguments. When you give arguments, for example, any questions, I said it, Any questions? For example, there is a question that yes, this Buddhism, this was not only a religious revolution, or it was a social movement. It was a social movement. They are saying that it was also a social movement. Okay, it was a social movement. When it is said, make sure that yes, when you say that it is also a social movement, you must have sufficient examples. You must have sufficient examples or evidences or sources, that is to support or to back your argument that it was not just a religious movement, it was a social movement. Okay, suppose post-modern age is a dark age. Post-modern age is a dark age. Yes, in order to go for this argument, you must have the examples, evidences, or sources. Okay, so that is why arguments without supporting points or examples, evidences, data, that is also equally dangerous. So these things you take care when it comes to answer writing part in GS. And similarly, there are confusions with these elements also. Many aspirants feel whether I must use chords, especially beginners. See, answer writing is not a basket of chords. In the intro body conclusion, you are dumping so many chords from that, Rousseau, Voltaire, Montesquieu, or from this, Nelson Mandela, or from this Napoleon. Don't use that. Wherever it is necessary, there only you use these chords. If you are putting lots of chords, that does not make any sense. Most important part is that yes, the demand of the question must be addressed. That is important, holistically addressed. Diagrams, wherever these illustrations, if the contest is a very complex contest and you need to make it very simplified, in that scenario, if you are supposed to make the complex situation simplified, there you use diagrams or these flow charts or maps if necessary. Again, I'm telling you, it is not necessary to insert diagrams, flow charts, or maps in every answer. No need for that. Diagrams are required, or flowcharts are required, or these maps are required wherever you feel that it will simplify the complicated things in the answer. Okay, then see, vague points must be avoided. You must have specific content, specific knowledge on certain aspects which is being asked. Okay, then a one-sided approach is wrong. You see that, for example, some kind of the questions, especially when you are asked to critically evaluate, critically comment, or critically examine, critically analyze, their one-sided approach will be dangerous. Make sure that the other side also aptly addressed and given with lots of examples. Okay, then it is nice when you go for answers. Yes, it is nice, especially coming to these answers like a geography, or it is history or society. Yes, some answers are there which demands this multi-dimensional approach, or maybe interdisciplinary approach. Sometimes you have to connect a society with the culture, history with the geography, or this like what is called history with the polity. So this interdisciplinary approach, if the situation demands, don't do something artificial. If the situation demands, it is nice. Yes, you can adopt these interdisciplinary approaches in these GS answers, that will make your answer unique, impressive. Okay, then another point I would say that, coming to answer part, most important thing is that always understand what is the demand of the question. Okay, always understand what are the different parts of, you must do the breakdown. You must understand what are the different parts of the question. Also, you should know how to navigate through these various arguments, counter arguments. Okay, that is important, for which these directives will help you a lot. Now, coming to structure part, I said introduction, body, conclusion. This is the structure you should follow. Then your arguments must have sufficient support tools, maybe with the current affair data, or examples, or evidences, or sources. Okay, so the support tools you should have. If different parts are there, a balanced approach you must have. I mean, each part must be equally balanced. Okay, then see, avoid the maximum repetition of words and idioms and phrases, or maybe the points you discussed in the first part is being repeated in the second part, being repeated in the summary part or in the conclusion. Don't do that. Okay, then see, conclusion is not the summary. Conclusion, conclusion, you see, usually some students use the words like in summary, or to sum up, or therefore, that is why, or that is how. This kind of the things, repetitive things, can be avoided. Okay, your conclusion has to be positive, your conclusion has to be concise, your conclusion has to be problem solving. So I would say that yeah, wrap up your conclusion with a positive end or a positive insight. Okay, so make sure that way you have to go for the conclusion. So there are different sorts of conclusions that we discussed in some other videos. So take care of these aspects. These are very much important for your answer writing part, and Gallant IAS Academy offers extensive answer writing practices for students appearing 2025 and students appearing 2026 CSE. Okay, other mentors are also there to support you with this answer writing, and this is the core part of your preparation. Okay, prelims is just a qualifying round, and mains, the score you have in the mains and your interview, that will decide your rank in the final exam. Okay, so take care of these aspects. We have a program called Mains Pro 2025, which is for the students appearing mains 2025 and 2026, with lots of answer writings and test series for your GS papers and essay. So just stay focused, stay tuned. All the best. Thank you.
Gallant IAS, chasing your passion to ace.